Now, your Norcast weather update. Brought to you by Orbit Energy, your whole home solutions provider. We're ready to make your dream home a reality. Call 1-800-836-3987 or visit orbitenergy.us for more info.
All right, good evening, everybody. Nor'easter Nick here. It's now just before 10 o'clock on your Sunday night. If I am coming on here live on a Sunday night before bed, well, actually, it's past my bedtime at this point, you know that there's something going on. Now, with that said, I don't want you to go running around like Chicken Little with your head cut off. We do have the threat, and I think it's a substantial threat if the sun comes out in full strength tomorrow. This is going to be a boom or bust situation. By that I mean we're either going to get hit with some strong thunderstorms in the afternoon and early evening hours, or it's going to fizzle. I don't think that there is going to be an in-between. Unfortunately, at this point in time, all I can do for you is basically highlight what I think is the most likely situation and get you prepared for what the maximum potential is. Obviously, I don't want any strong storms to happen. I don't want any damaging thunderstorms to occur. We don't want any damaging winds or tornadic activity. So we're hoping that it fizzles out. But my job is to get you prepared for the event that it doesn't fizzle out. And we'll put all the factors on the table. And hopefully by tomorrow morning when I do my live at 7:30, we will have more data to go in off of. But throughout the day today, the threat has expanded. We woke up with a 5% chance of tornadic activity, a sliver of Camden, Gloucester, Salem County, same thing with the damaging wind threat. But through the course of the day, all that has expanded eastward and now includes a good chunk of South Jersey. So we are obviously going to get right into the details of all of that. First things first, though, I want to take a look at the couple of our weather cameras right now. Overlooking the Delaware Bay in Fortescue. It is dark out there, and it's going to stay dark until the sun comes up tomorrow morning. Haha, that was a George Carlin joke. If anybody is a George Carlin fan, loved him. Let's head up to Ocean City. We have some fog out there right now. You can't actually see across the Delaware or the Great Egg Harbor Bay into Summers Point. So that is an issue right now, and we don't have any rain. But there's going to be moisture on the cameras because of the areas of fog. Right now, we're at 63 degrees, a dew point of 60. Relative humidity is at 90%. Some of you, that relative humidity is at 100% with the dew points and air temperatures lining up. Visibility is down to under a mile. I was just coming out of Atlantic City not long ago, and it was pretty bad up until the Parkway. And then it went poof. It vanished. It disappeared. So that's always a good thing. No precipitation today. Completely different than yesterday. Clearly, we had rain that extended for a period of time right into the afternoon. A little more rain than we were anticipating, but we told you there would be a good 3 or 4 hour period where some scattered to more organized rain was possible. Winds are not bad. They are light out of the south right now. 6 in Hamilton, 2 in Norristown, 3 in Westchester, 5 in Vineland. And for this reason, there's not a whole lot of momentum to stir up the air, so it can become stale and stagnant, and we end up in a situation where you have areas of fog out there. So even into daybreak tomorrow, there could be areas where the visibility is greatly reduced. 70 right now in Philadelphia, 63 in Atlantic City, 69 in Richmond, 69 in Charleston. Okay, you see this big blue kind of jaggedy edge thing? This is our cold front. This is going to be sparking those issues tomorrow mid-afternoon and early evening. I do believe that strong thunderstorms are on the table. We've got warm, moist air out ahead of this system, and if we add the sunshine, I think we're going to have issues, okay? 71 right now, still hanging on to those temperatures, those warm, toasty temperatures in Norristown, 70 in Lancaster, 65 in Vineland, 59 in Atlantic City, 64 in the courthouse, and 65 in Toms River right now with those winds out of the south. You probably noticed the entire weekend, starting back on Friday, it has felt kind of sticky. My ladies out there with the big hair, you've especially felt it. Our dew points have been in the middle 60s. So this time of the year, as we get into the warmer months, we look at the level of moisture for many reasons. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at that for thunderstorm activity and how much moisture is going to be available. But in layman's terms, we look at this and we figure out what it's going to feel like on your skin. So sticky when you're in those middle 60s. At least we stay away from oppressive right now. That will likely change as we go ahead into, the rest of May, clearly. Few showers down to the southwest, crossing over the Chesapeake into the western parts of Delmarva. This is just anomalous propagation right now, bugs and whatnot. There's no area of heavy rain over us, but we are watching some showers down to the south. They will likely stay down to the south, maybe coming through the southern portion of Salem, Cumberland, and Cape May County in the coming hours, which could block out the lunar eclipse. It's really a race against the clock at this point. We have an hour and a half before the lunar eclipse is coming into totality. So you might be able to get a glimpse of it. I still can see the moon at my house in Gloucester or Washington Township now. Out to the west, here's our cold front. This is the system that's coming our way tomorrow. There's some severe weather down to the south, but we're not at the maximum daytime heating portion of the day, all right? So if this was 2, 3 o'clock, as it will be coming through our area tomorrow, there would be a little bit more concern. So for tonight, we've got areas of fog, reduced visibility again. There could be some strong storms on Monday. We're talking rain, we're talking wind, and yes, we are also talking about the potential for some isolated tornadoes. It all comes down to one thing, folks. It's got, I'm messing up my words. Yeah, I'm not usually up this late. I'm usually in bed. It comes down to one thing. How much sun do we see? The sun acts as like a match. You light that match and the atmosphere cooking as a result of that daytime heating with the sun beating down. We have the front coming through, so we have the instability. We have some decent wind shear. That's change in wind direction with height. You got all the ingredients there. But the sun is the most important, because if it stays cloudy, which we are rooting for, right? We want overcast skies. You'll end up with areas of downpours and some rumbles of thunder, but the severe aspect of it would kind of be thwarted. It would be expunged. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center in our area, this includes Trenton, Northwest Burlington, down into Camden, Gloucester, Salem, Cumberland County. We are in an enhanced risk of severe weather. This is a level 4 threat, or level 3 threat, rather. So that means that numerous thunderstorms are possible, okay? Even down towards the coast. We've got a level 2 slight chance of severe weather, meaning scattered severe thunderstorms are possible. But really, as these things come through, it's going to be that classic effect where the oceanic impact stabilizes things a bit. So you'll probably end up with some areas of heavy rain and some thunder. But the real severe potential is going to be through the southwest section of our viewing area in South Jersey, northern Delaware, and the Philly burbs. It's a large area of real estate. There's a 5% chance of tornadic activity. Now, let me stop you from what you're thinking right now, because I had a viewer kind of push back on this idea. I understand that this does not look menacing at all, like 5%, okay. There's a 95% chance that we're not going to see a tornado. And yeah, I mean, that is true. I think this is an isolated scenario, but every tornado that we have seen in the past 3 years has happened in a 2 to 5% chance. There's been one exception. We had a 10% chance. That was September 1st. That was with Tropical Storm Ida, right? The tornadoes that ripped through Mullica. That happened under a 10% chance. But aside from that, everything else has occurred in a 2 to 5% chance. So don't misunderstand this. Don't downplay it to the point where it's really not a big deal. I don't want you running around all crazed and scared. That doesn't do anybody good. We're going to be common sense about this. We're going to hold your hand right through it. We're going to get you through it. If there happens to be a tornado watch issued by late morning or early afternoon tomorrow, we'll know that the conditions are there. They could come together. The difference between a watch and a warning is an entire world here. So if you're under a watch, you just know that, okay, it's possible. If there is a warning that pops up in the afternoon and evening hours, though, that means you got to get to your safe place immediately. Now, this chance does not mean that, you specifically in Hamilton or Bridgeton, Salem, Collingswood, that you're going to see a tornado. I think chances are against that. But what it does say is in this wide piece of real estate, there's any one town could have a 5% chance of tornadic activity. I think the bigger threat here is for damaging winds. You've got many times more, a greater chance of damaging winds. Scranton, Allentown, Philadelphia, most of New Jersey. This is a 30% chance. So these storms will be packing a punch. We're also looking at the potential for large hail out of these systems as well. So for tonight, we've got the cloudy skies overhead. If we're able to keep things clear for even just a little bit, you might be able to get in on the lunar eclipse. You have those showers passing down in the south, not really a big deal. Early tomorrow morning, there could be some showers or thunderstorms that pop up and slide off to the south. But this is what we're looking for. If by mid to late morning, satellite starts looking like this, where you got broken sunshine, maybe even a period of partly to mostly sunny skies, well, then we run into issues in the afternoon. So here comes our cold front moving in from the west, and it should get here 2, 3, 4 o'clock. First to the west of Philadelphia. So our friends out in Lancaster, in Chester, in Delaware County, you are going to see these storms fire up first. That could be 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We will watch for these singular cells. They are more likely to become supercells and mesocyclonic in nature. That just means that the storm can actually take on these characteristics of rotating. So anytime I see this, like these individual cells, my concern level goes up a little bit because there's more likely to have those tornadic properties in them. Instead of like a squall line, those are generally straight line wind. You can get tornadoes in those as well. But when you see this, that increases the concern a little bit. This mass pushes over into our area. This is 4:30 tomorrow. Your morning commute is fine. It's your evening commute coming home from work and school where there could be some issues. If this plays out, and this looks pretty intense, folks, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is just one model's interpretation of what is possible. But if this plays out, you will have damaging winds. You will have flash flooding concerns. You will likely have frequent cloud-to-ground lightning and even the chance of some tornadoes here. So you see how even with the squall line, it's still trying to paint some individual intense cells. Then it gets out of here for the evening hours. It pushes that upper level low that has been spiraling about for over a week now, impacting our weather out of here, and things will get better. For tonight, about 61 areas of fog, south winds light at under 10 miles an hour. That's going to further help develop the fog. Don't forget, we have the lunar eclipse tonight. If your skies are clear, if you're lucky enough to go outside and look up, if you're up that late, the totality begins at about 11:30. Its maximum eclipse is at 12:11, and then it kind of goes off into the abyss. But what happens is the moon goes underneath the Earth's shadow. It's called the umbra. And there's this red hue that is cast upon the surface of the moon, and that's why we call it a blood moon. Really cool to see. And it's a total lunar eclipse, not just a partial. So for tomorrow, I think we get into the lower 80s. Sometime 2 to 3 o'clock, those storms start to move in and eye up South Jersey. Some models are pushing it back to 5 or 6 o'clock. We're just going to highlight the entire 2 to 8 o'clock time frame. Sooner in southeast Pennsylvania. So it's going to be warm, it's going to be muggy with those south to southwest winds. Going into Tuesday, beautiful weather. Mid and upper 70s west winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And then the warmth starts to build in for days 6 to 10 and then 8 to 14 with the cool stuff being displaced across the northern tier of the country. Okay, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast here. And clearly we have some changes to talk about. Okay, so we go from the middle 70s on Tuesday, step it back a little bit as the cooler weather comes in Wednesday and Thursday, and then going into Friday and Saturday back into the 80s. In fact, the mid and upper 80s are possible by Friday and Saturday. So things are going to get rather warm around here. Some of you have been expecting that, right? Heading to Washington Township from North Wildwood for an MRI. Am I in trouble? It really depends on what time. If you're in the morning, you're going to be fine. If you're in the early to mid-afternoon, you could be running into some issues, especially around 4 o'clock. May need to reschedule tomorrow. Going to send out email in the morning, okay? Okay, I'm not pumping gas tomorrow. All right. Can I go back to the 3:30 p.m. radar? Well, let's pull that up. Now, take into consideration, this is just one model depicting what is possible, but I'll throw this back up so you can see where we are. We can zoom ahead to 3 o'clock. This is, I mean, if this happens, it's going to be over Berlin, Chislehurst, Winslow, excuse me, and the chance of that happening, verbatim is probably on the lower side, but it gives you a general idea where these storms could be setting up. This is 3:30 coming through Philadelphia, and then just beyond that, it starts to get over into the rest of South Jersey. So follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's at Nor'easter Nick. I will be here early tomorrow morning to walk you through any significant issues that we could see pop up. All right? Take care, everybody. I am off to bed. I wanted to stay up for the eclipse, but I know it's going to be a long day of severe weather tracking, so I got to get, my Z's in. Have a great night. I'll check back with you in the morning, and I will leave you with a shot of the Great Egg Harbor Bay in Ocean City, where it is rather foggy.